Welcome to the hunt! Today shall be the biggest target of them all, the Zorah Magdaros. I mean, technically speaking, Zorah Magdaros isn't the biggest one, but still, he's quite a little chunky boy. Okay, so, let's start off this video by saying what everybody has there on their mind. Zorah Magdaros is boring as all hell. Oh my god, is he boring to heaven and back. He's so fucking boring. Now, I think the team at Capcom did a phenomenal job at evolving the idea of areas and monster fights for Zorah. But you don't fight Zorah! That's the thing, you don't fight Zorah Magdaros directly! Even with something so used as Dalamadora, for example, you were still, quote-unquote, fighting the monster. The monster was actively trying to attack you. That ain't the case with Zorah. So, the strategy for him is essentially pretty simple. Zorah Magdaros has 4 magma cores, 3 that are accessible before the barrier phase, and 1 that is accessible during the barrier phase. You need to damage and break all the magma cores, or at least as much as possible, so you can deal base damage to Zorah in itself, for you cannot deal direct damage to Zorah in its second phase, meaning at the barrier phase. So you need to destroy those magma cores, and every time you destroy them, you are essentially dealing massive additional damage to Zorah Magdaros. There is an additional way you can deal damage to Zorah in between traveling time between the magma cores, and that is through the stalactites that are rigged on the ceiling and on the floor, and the stalagmites on the floor, so you can deal big damage. For example, here's one right now. What killed me there? Yeah, so Zorah is kind of filled with bullshit hitboxes. As you can see, actually, let's replay that clip real fast. What the hell killed me? Seriously, what the hell killed me? I keep replaying that stupid clip, and I don't understand what actually killed me there. There was a couple of places where I was like, maybe it's the ground that shook, but a magma ball didn't hit me. It wasn't a shockwave as far as I can see. I'm genuinely perplexed as to how I was killed during that one. After you destroy 2 magma cores, I believe, or after a certain time threshold, Nergiganti will appear on the back of the Zorah Magdaros, shifting the position of Zorah, essentially changing how you need to approach the magma cores, and certain magma cores will be unavailable, like the ones we are doing right now, which will happen, unfortunately, so that sucks. If I believe correctly that you need to be able to deal, I think it's 10% max health damage to Nergiganti in order to repel him off, or, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think you can also use a dung pod in order to repel him off. I think that works just as well. I maybe am wrong here, but I think that's a legit strategy. If you want to do like AT Zorah Magdaros, Octemper Zorah Magdaros, and get tickets for that, I believe that's a doable strategy. Again, I may be wrong, but I do believe it's right, and please correct me if I am so. Once all 3 magma cores are destroyed, you will just have to kind of fuckle about for a couple of minutes until Zorah gets into place. After you get into place, you will try Windrake, try to evolve to phase 2, which is the barricade phase. And if you thought the first phase was fucking boring, welcome to phase 2, where even less damage is applied, or pressure is applied to you. Regular Zorah 2 cannot deal anything. You will kill this thing before the barrier is even coming close to being completely destroyed. We'll see in a little bit that we will have a barrier health bar, and that bar indicates how much health the barrier has. If the barrier falls to 0, you fail the quest, or if you fainted 3 times, you fail the quest. I don't think I've ever fainted to Zorah, even in this phase. Like, I fainted to him on his back, as you saw previously, because of bullshit hitbox and the magma cores, especially with the blasting, but I don't think I've ever actually died or fainted on Zorah, even an AT Zorah, because he is so unbelievably just kind of bad at everything. With that said, there are a couple of strategies you need to use in order to make sure that this fight goes relatively fast. NPCs will help you load the cannon, which honestly the best route I think you can potentially have is just loading the first cannon, shooting the first volley, and then just going back and forth between NPCs to make sure you shoot every cannonball volley. I think it's the most efficient way to go. Your Palico can also put on a volley here. And probably the most important aspect of the Zorah fight is the one-shot binder. Unfortunately, I guess it doesn't matter in this case, but you will in certain scenarios have Zorah Magdaros wielding a big attack, which is going to take 20 years for him to do, but that is beside the point. You can shoot the one-shot binder to knock him out of that attack, and that's essentially needed if you want to do AT Zorah fairly efficiently. Another great thing you can do in order to make Zorah easier, even if you needed to per se make him easier, you really don't have to, but if you wanted to make Zorah easier, having heavy artillery is an incredible skill at this point. It's a 2-point skill, which is insanely powerful, and I guess nobody should ever have trouble. See, I got hit by the fireball there and I took no damage, even if I don't have any armor. See what I mean by you cannot get killed by Zorah Magdaros in this phase? Anyway, I'll stop bitching. So just shoot cannons at this dude until he basically falls. I think you have 2 one-shot binders on this map that can allow you to essentially nullify 2 of Zorah's attack. You will eventually just ram the boat at one point or another, the barrier, but that's just an inevitability. Every time the Dragonator is ready, use it. It deals an insane amount of damage to Zorah. As you saw, that I was over 2,000 damage, and a single volley of cannonball deals about 700. So that's literally 3 to 4 times the damage, and you don't have to run back and forth in order to load the stupid cannons, which makes this substantially easier. You really don't have any reason not to use it as soon as it is available, as it will also recharge. And you have, for this quest specifically, 50 minutes and 25 minutes for AT Zorah, which again, if you're using heavy artillery, that's going to go down even more. That's about all the things that we really need to know about Zorah Magdaros. When it comes to ecology, I think its lore is fantastic. I think the ideas behind it are interesting. I like how long the development team spent on him, which I believe was 1 year. I just wish it was more involved of a fight. It's an interesting set piece, yeah? It's fun to see and watch, yeah? One time. That's all really you need. It's like playing an Uncharted game. You play an Uncharted game one time and that's it, yeah? That's how I feel about Zorah. You play this hunt once and you never want to do it again because it's so not repeatable. It's one of the most boring quests in the entire fucking game. So yeah, Zorah is interesting in its lore and its ecology. I took damage there from magma. I didn't even remember that was a thing, so I guess you should be worried about that. You can go back up from the boat to the barrier in order to talk and interact with the other NPCs to shoot the cannon volley, which again I believe is the most efficient method. I may be wrong here. You really should not have, again, any issue with this dude. As cool as he is, as well-intentioned as he is, he's not hard, guys. He really isn't. But that can allow me the last minutes in order to talk about the main theme that is playing throughout this whole section. And in fact, here's a little snippet. I'll shut up for a while. Unfortunately, I shut up at the wrong time, but after a while, Zorah will just go back out to sea. And you would have won the fight. If you couldn't even call that a fight, that was pathetic, man. Anyway, guys, see ya on the next episode.